This show's been going on since 2007 when we opened in Hollywood. And we've been touring, we've done several tours, one throughout Canada, England. We ended up on the West End for, I think it was 8 weeks, and we did a tour of New Zealand, and then we've done several stops through the States all around, so it's been great. But we're glad to be in New Orleans. For sure. You know, I think after, when you do 14 months and research, intense research, and I read every book, saw every movie, and listened to every audio clip I could find, just scoured the corners of the world just for every little glimpse of information. And since we've opened the play, I have been so fortunate to meet with people that actually knew her. And it's one thing to read a book and to learn all the facts and all the figures and try to get into watching her and seeing, who it is, where does she live. And for me, for this play, I'm after the Marilyn that lived in her dressing room or in her living room, and then we visit the iconic Marilyn, of course, that we all know and love. But I want to know who she really was, and so that's who I've always been after, and I think we've captured her through her own words, even, which is what I say in the play, and then I sing 17 songs or snippets thereof that kind of help us, move the story forward. Incidentally, that we had the music that she sang in her movies kind of goes along with different facets of her life, and so we're able to use the songs that she sang in her movies. So that's kind of a fun element to the play, along with all the costumes and things that were very Marilyn-esque. But sure, I think there's sharing time with Marilyn, fans and people who actually spent time with her, and a good deal of time with her. Her makeup artist, Mr. Blackwell, from The Worst and Best Dressed List, who is no longer with us, was a personal friend and fan. Her producers from Stanley Rubin from The River of No Return, people like that, and they're all terribly protective of her, and it's really fun to see, and that really adds a human element when you can have FaceTime with people that have actually sat in the same room with her. And I have the best job in the world because I get to travel, do what I love, and the interesting thing about doing a show in a city, like I've come to New Orleans several times with my husband, and we love it here, and we love to go down to the quarter and eat our way through the quarter, and do all things New Orleans and enjoy the music. But when you come here and you work here, you actually start interfacing with people who, like yourself, who've lived here all their lives, and you start to really learn the history of New Orleans, and you get a real feel, and it's a different perspective. And for me, that's the best way to travel. It's really fun. And all of that. I also direct. I have a show out called The Four Tenors, of which I arrange and write their music, and so I have different avenues that are refreshing to me. It's great to do this project, and then great to go off and do another one. You come back to this one refreshed with more experiences to add to my characterization of Marilyn. I think that if I were to kind of capsulize it, I would say that this is a women's show from a women's perspective, and it's about a career woman of the 50s. And she did anything that she needed to climb the corporate ladder, and in that day and age, it was sleep around a lot. I have a Shakespearean director, Stephanie Shine, and I like the idea of using a Shakespearean director because she won't back away from the grit and the sexuality and the humor in a story such as Marilyn's. And it's a really interesting story. She's a fascinating woman, and very powerful, but ultra feminine. And that combination is really kind of interesting and she came from nothing. She had no one. She was alone in the world, really alone in the world, and amassed success that nobody else has ever matched. So it's a phenomenal story. Regardless if it's Marilyn or it's not, the story is a great story. So that's what theater is about, is you come to see your storybook come to life, and Marilyn has given us that for sure in spades. A great story, and I'm just the lucky one who gets to play the part. Okay, the ice storm is over, and it's warmer out. There are 3 shows left, so come on in and see Marilyn Forever Blonde at the Joy Theater, because some like it hot,